Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I got this eerie green iridescent glow on the base of Bellacore. It's not a difficult process and it can really transition over to other colors as well. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and start painting. So the first step here is to take a white, I used a white oil wash. You can also use a white enamel if you wanted to. Just make sure you thin it out so it flows through all of the cracks and stuff. And you're just going to paint all of the areas that you're wanting this bright green. It will naturally kind of just flow through the cracks, which is fine. That's what you want. And then if you need to do a couple coats just to make sure you have that very bright white. Next, I took white acrylic through my airbrush, and I just started building up these layers where there was where I made pools. I made these pools just using some. It was actually just Eileen's tacky glue that I squirted on the base and just let it pool and kind of flatten out on its own. But so for all of these areas, you're going to spray them white. Make sure you build that color up so it's a nice opaque, bright white. And the next step, still using the airbrush, you're going to go all of those lines that you painted earlier with that oil paint, and you're just going to start adding just like a haze, just like a fuzzy line all around all of those. And you want this because this is what's going to give you that glow effect. Now, if you don't have an airbrush or you're just not comfortable using an airbrush yet, uh, fear not. You can also do this using a very small dry brush or any type of brush that you've converted to a dry brush. Just get some paint on there, wipe it off, and then just lightly lightly brush over those lines and just build up those edges. And that's where you're wanting like this white is up on top on those edges where that glow is just going to be dispersing across that rock. Okay, now to start with some color. The first coat on here is going to be fluorescent yellow. I'm going to do this through the airbrush, and I'm just going to start building up that color over all of those areas that I painted white. And now maybe to take a couple steps back, you have to start off with a very light base coat, namely white, for this step because your fluorescent colors will not cover black. They will cover it, but you won't get that pop. You won't get that really bright, just fluorescent glow that you're looking for if you try to paint these over a dark color. That's why you start off building up that white layer and then, using those oil paints to let it flow through there and then using the airbrush and kind of doing that diffused glow. Because now you're going to go in with this fluorescent yellow. And as you can already see, it's really just starting to pop. You're just starting to get a glow almost immediately. Now, once I've built up that color, I will go in with a 50-50 mix of fluorescent yellow and fluorescent green. I will go over all of those little cracks and crevices and just build up areas, not every one of them. So I want some of that yellow to stay where it is, but I'll go over some of them and build up that more of a greenish hue. And then on the pools, I will focus around the edges, leaving the center of them more yellow than green. Now, once I'm happy with that, I switch to just 100% fluorescent green. And I really start just adding some more like shade, just darker edges to these pools. And then I'll also go over all of those cracks and crevices and build up darker areas. You want to make sure that you leave brighter areas in there. You don't want to make it all like totally green because then it really kind of loses its glow effect. The nice thing about these fluorescents is they are very, very transparent. So um, it's kind of hard to mess it up. You can build up your layers gradually and not really have to worry about just killing all of that, all of those layers of color underneath. Now I grab some white and I go in and just kind of hit some of the some highlights here. And in the pools, I'll kind of make almost where it's running off down like the rocks into the pool and spreading out, almost like little like fingers of lightning. But you're going to do all this in white, and then we're going to go back in and punch that up with some more of the yellow. Now, unfortunately, I lost the footage of this, but after that, I went in with some dark jade and I lightly sprayed that through the airbrush around the very edges and onto like the edge of the rocks and stuff, just to give that diffused glow even more of like uh, kind of like a dissipation, just so it's diffusing out over the landscape there. And really, that's it. That's how I painted this kind of phosphorescent green glow for Bellacore's base. Um, I'm excited to work on the rest of this model and just work on a little bit more of the OSL, that object source lighting from like just an overhead light and then also his weapon and just the glow from below him. So we'll see how that turns out. This has been a lot of fun. And thank you guys for joining me here today on Level Up Hobbies. If you like the video, please give me a like down below. Subscribe, comment, share. All of that goes a long ways to helping the channel. And yeah, thanks again, guys. Remember, don't forget, build, paint, and play tabletop games. Thanks, guys.